Hey guys, welcome to today's video. It is an exciting one because I am trying out Fantasy Cosmetica for the first time. I have 2 palettes here to try. I'm going to create 4 looks for you today. We're gonna use these out. I wanna see, is this worth the hype, y'all? Is this worth the hype? Indie is taking YouTube by storm, and I wanna know if it's any good. If you are new, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly, and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, you are in the right spot. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. I did recently go to Austin for CMG weekend. That was put on by Samantha March and Angelica Nyquist, and I got to meet Jordan from Fantasy Cosmetica. I have heard so many people raving about Fantasy Cosmetica. I'm like dipping my toe in the indie pond, like tell me more, I wanna know. And so I decided after meeting Jordan, she was absolutely wonderful and so kind, that I wanted to go ahead and purchase these palettes. These were not sent to me, I purchased them myself. I wanted to try these out. I wanted to see if they were any good. So there were 2 color stories that I was really excited about. The first is the Druid palette. I think that's how you would say it. Fantasy Cosmetica, I'm pretty sure, is based off of gaming. And I'm not a gamer, so I don't really know too much about these names, but this was a color story that intrigued me. I thought, you know what, this would be a great palette for fall because you have like these rich green shades, you have this pop of blue, but these maroons, like this is just a vibe for me. And so I thought that this would be a good palette for me to try because I wanted something that was like my wheelhouse, right? Like I'm very much a neutral type of girl, but I want a little bit of something, you know, like I want my neutrals to pop. So this was the first palette that I decided to pick up, but I also have heard so many people rave about the Fighter palette. When I think of Fantasy Cosmetica, a lot of people that I know that I watch rave about the Fighter palette and how wonderful it is. Again, it gives me fall vibes with like these gunmetal shades over here. You have this warm side over here, this beautiful purple shade. Like I just thought this is a Kelly color story. Like the Fighter palette is a little bit more neutral, a little bit more in my wheelhouse, something I'm comfortable with. So I decided to pick these 2 up. I am going to put them to the test. I am going to try them out. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna zoom you in and like, let's just play with makeup. Okay, so we are going to create 2 looks. I'm gonna go in with Sage right here, which is the lightest matte, and it's kind of that like olivey, pukey, wonderful color. It's a little bit more green than yellow, but it's giving me the baby puke vibes that I'm very much into. It doesn't sound lovely when you say it like that, but I promise you those are the lovely shades. And this is just my Sigma E40 blender, and it's nice and light and fluffy because I'm going to put this in my crease, but since it's the lightest shade, I don't have any other like transition shades to kind of blend upward and outward. Then I'm gonna go in with my Singe EO2 and we're gonna dip into this one right here in Old Growth. And my plan here is to put it in the outer corner, but blend it into the crease in the outer section just a little bit here. I don't want to take it in too far. I do want this to be concentrated just in the outer corner, but I do have hooded eyes. So in order for it to be seen, it needs to come up into the crease a little bit. And then one of my favorite brushes for the lid is the Singe EO1. I love it because it is fluffy to blend, but it also has this little tapered point at the top. It picks up the shimmers beautifully, and I want to go into this one right here in Regrowth. I am going to spray my brush with Fix Plus and put that shadow on the lid. And so here is Regrowth on the lid here, which is a beautiful shade. I'll be interested to see if this is a shade that stains, because one thing I've found with indie shadows especially is to get this beautiful like shift and vibrance. Sometimes those reds and those purples stain my eyes. It never causes any irritation or anything, but it is something to note. It also probably really would have been pretty with Bare Form. I wonder if, I don't know that this is gonna do anything, but I'm gonna take that Bare Form. Ooh, that's like a pretty, like a gold. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty. And I can put that right here in the middle and kind of like halo a bit. Ooh, that's pretty. I didn't originally think I was gonna do that, but I actually really, really like that as kind of halo vibes. And then I'm just gonna take my pencil brush and go into that sage and put that on the lower lash line. Okay, so now I'm thinking I wanna do like this top row. This has such a beautiful shift to like, I don't know that you can see it. It's purple when I look at it here and then more of a blue and pulling green in my mirror. Like that is so pretty. Okay, I think I need a fluffy brush because I'm thinking I want to take this root shade right here. I'm going to use my Singe EO3 and let's just see, this is pretty deep. So I'm going to focus it lower on the crease and then blend it up a bit. Okay, so even though that's a deeper shade, it blended out really, really nicely. Okay, so I wanna go back into, or I'm gonna take this A502, Angie Hat and Flashy with KBellaBeauty, and I'm gonna go into this shade right here in Forest, but I'm going to focus that in the outer V and get a little bit of that like deep green blue shade. And I'm hoping that these two together is gonna pick up the shift in balance. Okay, I used my Sigma switch to clean off my Singe EO1, and we're gonna go into the balance shade. I'm going to spray my brush and we're gonna put that all over the lid. I do wanna say when I was pressing my brush into that balance shade, it had a little bit more give to it, almost like a little bit more of a squishy texture. I don't know if that's just the nature of the type of shadow or how to create the shift. But here it is right here, such a pretty, pretty shade. It is pulling mostly green when I look at it head on, but that is pretty. And I believe like the matte shades that you pair with it, oh yeah, there's definitely, it looks more iridescent on my finger. There's definitely some give there when you touch it. And then going back in with my pencil brush and going back into root here. And I'm going to run that along this outer part right here. I don't want to take it all the way in. I think I'm going to find a lighter brown shade to kind of like buff that inner corner. Okay, so this is just my Sigma Angela Bright palette, and I think I just want to go in with like this basic shade right here. It's just like it's same brush. I didn't even use the Sigma switch, but I'm going to take that on the inner corner and a little bit underneath, just because I need something a little bit lighter. Y'all know I am a neutral fan. I need something a little bit lighter to blend out here. And then I think for the inner corner, because I don't have a light shimmer there, I have this shade right here in Bright. I'm just going to pop that on the inner corner to get a little bit of brightness. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, let me go ahead and do some mascara and I'll be right back. Okay, so here are the two looks here. Definitely very fall vibes. I love this one. Ooh, especially with this lip. This lip is Sigma Beauty Scarlet. They're Infinity Point lipsticks. Love that. But how is this for fall? And then this one too. Ooh, so rich and green. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I will say this is my first impression with Fantasy Cosmetica, and I was pleased at how creamy and blendable these mattes were. Like, insane. Cannot believe it. So creamy and blendable. I was nervous because they are so dark and I was like, how is that going to blend into the crease? But it was amazing. I used these 3 shimmers. They were all fabulous. This like duo multi-chrome duochrome. I should probably know more. I should probably know more about this palette as I'm talking about it. But this was beautiful. This one was lightly pressed. You can see a little finger indent there. This shade was beautiful. I'm really excited. So I just didn't use these 2 shimmers right here, but I'm impressed. I'm impressed. So let's go ahead into the next 2 looks. I am super excited to be playing with the Fighter palette today. I love this color story. Oh my goodness. I think it's amazing. I think I'm gonna do this on one eye, and then I kind of want to use this Glory shade. So maybe like these right here, see if we can tap into Might a little bit. That's the plan. I'm really excited. We are going to play today. So first I'm going to go into my A503 BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy, and we are going to go into Valor right here, which is like a beautiful murky green. But this is a little bit more on the yellow side versus, I'll try to remember to put a side-by-side swatch of the shade that I used yesterday in the Droid palette. Droid palette. Oh, I need to know how to say that. But this is a little bit more yellow, whereas the other one was a little bit more green. But y'all, one thing I am noticing is that these mattes are blending like an absolute dream. They really are. These shades are so pigmented and rich and deep that I was a little bit intimidated to play, but they are blending out so, so nicely. So then I'm taking my BK207 and we're gonna go into this rich brown shade down here in Marshall. And we are going to put this right here in the outer V. I love this brush because it's so dense, but it does have a little bit of give to it, so I can blend it out a bit. However, I'll go back in with that brush that I was just using to blend the edges. I just want to build up this rich brown shade. So initially I thought I was just gonna go into Victory, and if I was like creating an eye look for myself, I would, but I almost think I wanna go into both of these shades. I just don't know which one to go in with first. Let me find a brush for the lid. Okay, so I'm going in with my BK203, and I think I'm gonna take that Victory shade first, and of course I'll spray it with Fix Plus, and we're gonna focus that on like the outer half of my eye, almost kind of like outer 2/3. Okay, so I'm going to, ooh, that is stunning, y'all. Super pigmented, super beautiful. Oh my goodness. And if you're going for like a neutral look, that all over the lid, yes, honey. That would do it for sure. Then I'm just going to flip it over and take this Fervor right here and put that on the inner part of my eye. So here is that Fervor shade looking beautiful. Again, if I was creating this look for myself, I don't feel like I would need to use both of these. I think just one would work, but both of them are performing absolutely stunning, like amazing, beautiful, pigmented, and they actually work really, really well together. Taking one of my Sigma pencil brushes and going in with kind of the same thing. I'm going to take this Valor first and kind of run this along the whole lower lash line, and then I'm going to dip into that deeper brown Marshall and focus that on the outer part of the under eye. But let me go in and work on the other eye. So we're going to go in with this gray shade in Cavalier. This is my Singe E03, a nice fluffy brush. And this is a light gray, which I am definitely appreciating some lighter mattes here. And we're just going to very sloppily, is that a word? Very sloppily place that all over the crease. This is stained because I need to wash my brushes, but I was using my Sigma switch to get some of the color off. And we're gonna go into this Warrior shade down here. This is my A502 Angie Hot and Flashy in BK Beauty. And I am going to use this in the outer part. I'm using a little bit of a fluffier brush because I don't need it so densely packed. I just want to deepen the outer part, but really I'm gonna cover it anyway with a shimmer in just a minute. You know you have too many brushes when it takes you a while to find the one that you're looking for. But I do have a ton of brushes. I just use the same ones over and over again. Okay, so this is my EO one from Singe. Here's the plan. I'm gonna go in with this one in Might on the outer half, and then we're gonna take Glory on the inner part. I'm excited to see what that looks like. Okay, so this is Might, and it's purple with a little bit of like a gold shift. Ooh, very deep and smoky. That is so beautiful. If you wanted a smoky eye, it's a purple shade with like a hint of gold. And the gold really is picking up. Like this is a beautiful shade. Okay, so then I think I'm gonna take my finger. I think that'll be easier. And I'm gonna go into this Glory shade. What finger do I wanna do? Ooh, that's a beautiful, like more iridescent. So I think that's a good call for the inner corner. Because of my nails, I can't really get in there good. So let me just use the other side of this Singe brush. That is beautiful. I'm just gonna take a second to like merge those two shades together. Okay, so this brush has no product on it, but I feel like I'm having a hard time like blending out these edges. I think it's just user error. I don't think it's the shadows. I think it's just not blending 100% the way that I would like it to. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with another pencil brush. I'm gonna take this Warrior shade. We're gonna start with the deeper one. I also did get a bit of fallout with these shimmer shades, but I wasn't being super careful. So, I mean, these are some sparkly, foiled, pigmented shades. Then I'm taking this E33 from Sigma. It's a little bit fluffier, and we're gonna go into this Cavalier shade. At this point, I am being pretty sloppy, but it's getting the job done, you know? Okay, let me go ahead, put some mascara on, and I'll be right back to show you the finished looks. So here are the two looks right here. We have this one. I could totally see myself rocking this look, y'all. Like, love it, love it. Smoky, date night, going somewhere special. The glitz, the glam, absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Let's go ahead and talk about Fantasy Cosmetica. Okay. I have some thoughts. I've used these palettes. I have created a couple looks. I have some thoughts. Let's start with the Druid palette because this is the first one that I used. And the one thing I will say, I did not use Serenity or Transformation, although they look absolutely beautiful. I noticed in both of these palettes that like the mattes were super duper pigmented, but super duper blendable. You hear me talk about other brands and how I love indie shimmers and they're so punchy and poppy and vibrant, and that is true of Fantasy Cosmetica also, but their mattes are like spectacular, okay? These, I was a little nervous. I am very fair-skinned. I was not sure that this was going to blend out on me, but it did, while also packing a punch. This balance shade was very interesting. It's beautiful. Like it looks purple here and then it looks green in there and then it looks blue and like it is so vibrant. This one has a little bit of a different texture, a little bit of a squishier type of texture, but one thing that I truly appreciated. I do not necessarily like feeling like I have to use my fingers when I'm creating an eyeshadow look, and I did not feel like I had to use my fingers. These picked up beautifully with a brush. Absolutely amazing. I really, really liked the two looks that I got with the Druid palette. And then today I played with the Fighter palette. This is the one too that I've heard a lot of people rave about. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. And it's one that seems like it's a little bit more neutral or a little bit more comfortable for a neutral lover. This is the one that is obviously on my eyes today. The only shade that I did not use in here is Blade. And Blade looks beautiful also, but this Might shade, like, oh my goodness, it kind of stole the show for me a little bit. Purple is my favorite color, more of like a lavender purple. This is a deep, rich purple with a gold in it. But again, I found the same thing to be true. The mattes, they are pigmented, but very easy to blend. Like, it does not look too harsh or sharp on my eyes. All of the shimmers that I used today were amazing. Like, they all picked up great on a brush. I was able to use my finger with this Glory shade. The texture was amazing. The sparkle, it's there. It's vibrant. It is there. And y'all, I have to say, I am impressed. I am impressed with Fantasy Cosmetica and just the quality of these shadows. The way that the mattes were so easy to blend, yet so pigmented. The richness of the shimmers. I have said it over and over again, like, Indie just does shimmers the best. I don't know what it is. It makes the palettes a little bit more expensive than some of the mainstream palettes that you can get out there. But like, these looks are vibrant and they're out there and they're beautiful. I could totally see myself rocking either one of these with this lip that I'm wearing today, which is Lunar Beauty. It's a Lunar Beauty combination. But these palettes are wonderful. If I had to pick between just one of them, I'm gonna have to say the Fighter. I like the Fighter a little bit more just because of color story. Like, it's a color story that's more my vibe, more natural and neutral to me, a little bit more comfortable for me. But I love both of these. I'm super duper excited to have them in my collection. And even though it's the middle of summer, like, I'm still gonna get some use out of them. I mean, like, look, that's summer. That's summer. That's a summer vibe. I am going to get some use out of this, but I will definitely be purchasing from Fantasy Cosmetica again. I was super pleased with the way that it came packaged, the way that it delivered, the quality of the shadows. Amazing, amazing. So I'm super duper excited to have them in my collection. But that's gonna do it for this video. I would love to know your thoughts down below. Do you have either of these palettes? Have you tried Fantasy Cosmetica before? Do you have a palette on your wish list? I would love to know. But that is going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and make sure to subscribe before you go. That way I can see you in the next one. Bye.